All right, welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. You ready to get our feet wet?
Always.
Today, we're going deep, deep into the Nile
Yeah.
with a Nile crocodile.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, yeah,
It's hard, isn't it?
it's gonna be good. We've got like a research paper all about these incredible creatures, and let me tell you, I am hooked.
Okay.
These guys, they can grow longer than a car.
Really?
Longer than a car. I mean, can you
I can't
imagine
even picture it.
encountering croc like that big in the wild? I mean,
Yikes.
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 Well, it's true. They're awe-inspiring, for sure. I mean, that size, right? Up to
What?
16 feet.
16 feet.
Yeah, over 1,600 pounds.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, think about that. That's
Like a motorcycle or something.
It's huge.
Mhm.
And it's part of what makes them such an effective apex predator.
Right.
I mean, they're one of the few predators, actually, that can successfully hunt large prey in deeper water.
Oh.
And, you know, they can thank their bulk and their powerful tails for that. Okay, that makes sense. But, I mean, it's not just about size, though, is it? They've got, like, I mean, armored scales.
Yeah.
And that incredible bite force. How powerful are those jaws?
Well, you got to imagine a force of over 5,000 pounds per square inch.
5,000.
5,000. I mean, that's like a small car crushing down on you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and their jaw muscles. I mean, they're specifically designed for generating that kind of force. And it lets them crush bones and tear through flesh like it's nothing.
Wow.
And their teeth, too. This is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
They're conical, and they're designed for gripping, right, not tearing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and that's why they often drown their prey.
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That's a whole other level of power.
It is.
So they're just kind of lurking down there, and then bam, like they explode out of the water.
Totally.
And grab their prey. I was reading that they eat everything,
Pretty much.
from tiny insects to massive buffalo. I mean, what are the implications of having such a varied diet for a predator like this?
Well, I think it just speaks to their adaptability.
Okay.
They essentially grow into their diet. Start with small fish, insects, as juveniles,
Right.
and they gradually move up the food chain. And their ability to take down, the large prey like buffalo, or I mean, even on rare occasions, a lion.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It plays a crucial role in regulating the populations
Okay.
of those animals, so it prevents overgrazing, it maintains that delicate balance of the entire ecosystem.
Right. So their diet directly impacts
The environment.
in a very real way. Okay, so we've established that these are like incredibly powerful predators.
Yeah.
But here's where things get kind of interesting, right?
Right.
They're also, surprisingly, dedicated parents.
It's true. Yeah, they are. And it's one of the things that really sets them apart, from many other reptiles.
Huh.
I mean, the females, they go to great lengths to protect their young. I mean,
Yeah.
they excavate these elaborate nests in the sand, like clutches of up to 60 eggs.
60.
Yeah. And then they fiercely guard that nest. I mean, staying close by until the eggs hatch.
Wow. This excerpt that we have, it mentioned that the mothers will carry their hatchlings to the water
I know.
in their mouths.
Isn't that crazy?
That seems, I don't know.
Tender.
Yeah, almost tender.
Right. For such a formidable creature.
It's true.
Yeah. But, it's as you mentioned, I mean, the hatchlings, they do face an uphill battle, right?
Right.
Only a small percentage survive to adulthood.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're vulnerable to predators. I mean, both in the water and on land.
Right,
They
yeah.
have to compete for resources. It's tough.
Yeah, it gives you a new perspective, I think, on the challenges that they face,
It really does.
even with that, like, fierce maternal protection.
Right.
Speaking of perspective, I was struck by how deeply entwined Nile crocodiles are with human history, culture,
Yeah.
particularly in ancient Egypt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, their connection to the ancient Egyptians it's fascinating. They weren't just seen as fearsome predators.
Right.
They were also deeply revered.
Hmm.
I mean, the god Sobek,
Hmm.
often depicted, with a crocodile head,
Uh-huh.
represented strength, fertility, protection from the Nile's dangers.
I see.
And he was associated with the life-giving power of the Nile, which, of course, I mean,
Essential.
essential to Egyptian civilization.
Yeah.
Right.
So they were both feared and worshipped. It's a complex relationship, it seems like.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one we have with them today, right?
Yeah.
We're drawn to their power, their ancient lineage,
Right.
of course. And yet there's always that element of danger.
Yeah.
Especially, when humans and crocodiles share the same resources.
Absolutely. And that tension is at the heart of many conservation efforts today.
Okay.
The Nile crocodile is currently classified as least concern
Least concern.
by the IUCN,
Okay.
which means they are not currently at risk of extinction.
Okay, so what does that classification really mean? Like, how does least concern compare to, like, the other conservation statuses?
Okay, so think of it as a spectrum, all right? Least concern is on the less critical end, meaning that populations are relatively stable.
Okay.
But then you have categories like vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, right?
Right.
And those indicate a much, much higher risk of extinction.
Right.
So, while the Nile crocodile isn't facing imminent danger, continued conservation efforts, they're essential to make sure that it remains that way.
Okay, so what are some of the biggest threats that they face right now?
Well, habitat loss. I mean, that's a major one.
Right.
As human development, encroaches on their natural territories. Pollution, from industrial and agricultural runoff, that contaminates the water sources.
Yeah.
And of course, there's poaching.
Of course.
Fueled by the demand for crocodile skin in the fashion industry.
Right. So it sounds like it's a very, multifaceted problem.
It is.
That requires a multi-pronged approach.
Exactly.
To solving it. So what can be done? What can we do to help ensure the future of these amazing creatures?
Well, protecting their habitat.
Okay.
That's crucial. Right. And that involves things like establishing protected areas, promoting responsible land management practices, working with communities to try and minimize that human-crocodile conflict.
Yeah.
Right. And we also need to address those root causes of poaching, which includes reducing demand for crocodile products and enforcing stricter regulations, against illegal hunting.
Right.
It's tough.
So it's about finding ways to coexist.
Exactly.
Recognizing their importance to the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Respecting their place in our world. It's incredible how much we've learned about Nile crocodiles today. They're clearly far more than just fearsome predators. They're integral to their ecosystem. They hold a significant place in human history.
Absolutely.
And even display, that's surprising, parental care.
It's true.
But here's a question for you to ponder as we sign off today. What do you think is the biggest challenge in balancing human needs with the conservation of a species like the Nile crocodile? And what role can individuals play in that effort? It's just something to think about as you continue exploring the fascinating world of these ancient creatures.
Great question.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.